All right, Coach, thank you very much for taking time to preview this spring season with me. How you doing today?
Great cold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're halfway through the 2024-2025 season. So for people that may have not followed the team during the fall, how would you evaluate the team up to this point?
Coming into this year, literally had zero expectations. We have some new players on the team. Obviously losing Jess last year and Pat halfway through. When you have a new season, you just never know. So really, really happy with how we did this fall. Had some good performances from some young players that can back up our season group, and was really happy with how we played.
Yeah, speaking of last season, you ended up getting your first WGCA All Americans, which, considering how long you've been in Orlando, I mean, it's been Orlando getting first aren't exactly happen very often at this point in time, and you end up getting not one but two in Sandwich and Molly. What was it like to see them receive those honors?
Yeah, it was really exciting, and I think they really deserved it. I happen to be on the WGCA committee that selects that. It was a cool process to kind of go through, and I think it's just a sign of our program. It just continues to get better and better, and I mean that's year after year. That's how you get better players to come into the program, and it's just a sign that we're developing players here. You have to recruit the best, but then you have to develop them. And for Molly in particular to come in as a freshman and do that, it was exciting for her and something we can continue to build on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how big is it to have both of them back this year and still have like another year, another year of eligibility at least left with in the case of Sandwich.
Yeah, Molly and Sandwich both are leaders now on our team with their work ethic and their drive and determination. And, we have them for next year too. So not only this year, but another year with two high quality players that are leaders both on and off the course.
Yes, and of course they've already been showing that this fall, both of them under 72 scoring average. They've gotten top fives, and when you look at how they're looking into the spring, what can we see out of them?
Probably more of the same, right? I don't expect anything less, nor do they. I always tell them, like, we don't choose when we're great to play great, right? You just choose to be great. So especially with somebody like Sandwich, she consistently is in the top 10. She has a lot of consistent performances, and we've worked a lot on just when it's your time to win and when it's your time to get the trophy, it's your time. Obviously, she's two-time defending champion at the Lady Gator this spring coming up, so she's excited about that. But we don't really change too much. We just continue with our same goals and values that we always have.
So this fall, you ended up getting started at the Annika Intercollegiate, ended up finishing 11th, but you bounced back for the next 3 weeks and finished in the top five. What did you kind of notice during Annika, and how did you notice that the team respond to that through the rest of the fall?
Yeah, Annika, that was a great thrill to be there. This is the best teams in the country. Literally, you start off your fall at the national championship. I mean, all of those teams will be at the end of the year at the national championship. So we took that as a learning week. Obviously, having Mila as a freshman and One on the team for the first time, it was just kind of, let's see what we have. And we went through some ups and downs. Mila had 15 clubs in her bag, for example, of freshman woes, right, and got a penalty for that. So it was kind of just getting that little rust out a little bit for us and see what we have. But I thought we did really well. You kind of have to take away those bright moments and say, hey, we can compete with these teams and come back here. And I think we continue to build on that throughout the fall.
Let's talk about Mila a little bit, because she ended up being the returning All-American that really stood out last season with a top 10 finish in the landfall tradition right at the end of the fall. What did you see from her developmental wise over the course of this fall that kind of built up to that?
You can see the smile on my face, right? I think Mila is a star. And I think that I'm not going to be surprised when everybody else sees that, because she's amazing. She has an amazing talent. She just has to work through the freshman woes of the golf courses, experience, course management. She will self-admit to that. And I really think at landfall, I told her the last 30 minutes of that tournament was a breakthrough for her and for us. I mean, she hit it out of bounds on her 17th hole on a par 5, going for it in 2. And I was happy, because I thought, this is the moment where we're going to grow with her. This is the moment she can reflect back on. I mean, she probably could have finished top 3 there almost, had she not made a double bogey there. But those are things, as a young player, I step back and I let them make those mistakes, and then we say, okay, what did we learn from that? if you just jump in there all the time as a coach in golf and tell them what to do, when they experience it for themselves, she came in and she was mad. In those moments, that's when we grow. So I couldn't be more excited about her. She's a tremendous talent.
Is she the type of player that you were kind of mentioning before, how getting those All-American titles from people like Sandwich brings more players in there?
She's it. She has the whole package. She's a player who it's up to her how good she's going to be. She's not somebody who like, she's got to get better in one area. It's just a matter of how far does she want to take it. She reminds everybody of Nelly Corda. I mean, that's a stark comparison to the best player in the world. She's got the power. She's got the game. She has the charisma. She has everything to be a real star in this game.
You also have another true freshman coming in and getting some playing time in Jamie Camaro from the UAE. She played in 9 rounds over the course of the fall. But what did you see from her developmentally, and what could we see this fall or this spring?
Jamie is a little dark horse too. She's one of the best players in the world, and again, I think for her it's experience. She's got a great game. I feel like I'm learning more about Jamie's game every week, and with the experience of playing with these better players, I think she's learning and growing. I would predict she's probably going to be a big part of our lineup coming up, whether it's this spring or even into next year. But I think she's our dark horse player that she showed moments, as you can see, looking at the results, right, of brilliance throughout the fall, of throwing in some rounds. Now it's just a matter of getting that more consistent.
Katie Poots ended up breaking out a bit last season with a couple of top tens. Has a 74.4 scoring average at the minute, but had a solid performance at the Mercedes-Benz Intercollegiate. What did you see her evolve from last year to this year, and what could we see from her this year?
So last year, her freshman year in the fall, Katie didn't travel at all. And I sat down with her in this time of year, almost a year to the date, and said, I think you're going to be a key person in our lineup. I just have this feeling you're going to have your breakthrough. And she did. I think she needed to hear that confidence, and she started seeing herself differently. She went to the home tournament, played well, Moon Golf, played really well, and just kind of made her feel like I belong here. And that's what we really worked with Katie on a lot, is that she has to feel like she belongs here at this level. She can compete at this level. She's kind of the heart of our team. She has a lot of personality. She always loves to be around golf and loves to be around the girls. And she's kind of one of our team cheerleaders, and she brings a good spirit to the team.
Now, you also have a couple of transfers with you on the squad this time around. You have One coming from North Florida. She had all tournament team honors at ASUN last year with North Florida. What was it like finding her in the transfer portal, and what has she showed you this fall?
Yeah, One was kind of out of nowhere. We had a spot open up, and just kind of all clicked. I mean, it was one of those moments where I'm like, hey, this just all works out. And obviously she's being honored in 2 weeks as a FSGA Female Player of the Year, and she won the stroke play FSGA last summer and then was runner-up in the match play. So had a lot of good experience in the summer coming into our schedule in the fall, and she has the heart of a lion. I mean, that girl works the hardest on the team. The girls love her. She's just somebody who you can admire her work ethic and her determination, and she's just very consistent. I call her a gamer. Thankfully for us, she plays better in tournaments than she does in practice most of the time. She turns it on in competition where we know maybe she's not going to go super low, but she's always going to be that steady person that we know she's never going to give up. Maybe she has a round where she gets it to 2-3 over, she can finish even par, never gives up. So another really solid addition kind of late in the summer for us there.
That sort of reminds me of Jess a little bit, because I remember that Jess really stepped up in match play before, and I remember you telling me about how that can be key later on when you're making the NCAA championship, because match play ends up getting involved there.
Yeah, One is just all around amazing. Straight A student. She does everything right. Couldn't be happier to have her on the team.
How big was it to get her at this point? Because I remember the transfers that I've seen you get before are people that were here for maybe a year, a season, and that's it. But One is a sophomore this year, so she is right there with Molly and Katie in terms of her collegiate journeys, to say at least.
Yeah, 1 year at North Florida, she was consistently 1 or 2 there, and I think the challenge for One has been it's harder to make the team here, which makes her better. She's constantly pushed here, and I can just only see her getting better and better the longer that she's here, and knowing she has to get better every year, and that's what she wanted. She had a great program at North Florida. She had a good experience there, but wanted this challenge and fits into our lineup nicely.
Yeah, speaking of hard to make the team, you also have Caroline Neems, who transferred in from Carson Newman, Orlando native from her. We didn't get a chance to see her in the fall, but what you saw in practice. So what have you seen from her, and what could we potentially see from her this spring?
No one loves UCF more than Caroline Neems. So Caroline's probably taught us all the school chants and cheers, and she's a huge UCF supporter. Her parents went to school here. She's from Lake Nona, went to Lake Nona High School. So she definitely brings that school spirit and the energy that to every practice, every game. She's proud to be on the team. And I think, honestly, that's been great for us, that she has, she knows every stat on every other sports team too. But, we'll see. She's been playing really well in qualifying. Her home course is Eagle Creek. That's where she grew up playing. So I know she's comfortable there, and we're excited to see what she can do in the first tournament.
I guess she's a good little scout for the new players to play at Eagle Creek a little later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So speaking of Eagle Creek, of course that's where you guys start your spring in early February. But the tournament went through a little bit of a name change this time around. Now it's called the PDI Intercollegiate. What ended up going into that, and what was it about PDI that kind of made them a good partner for this?
Yeah, I got hooked up with PDI this past fall, and it's a company that does golf assessments for junior golfers, college golfers, but kind of measures where you're at, whether it's physical, mental, on the course. They go through this whole testing of physical tests, chipping, putting, ball flights. They came in and worked with our team right before the Christmas break and assessed them. And I immediately saw that the girls connected with it. They saw it as a way to assess themselves, where they need to get better. They were scoring themselves, and it's kind of transitioned into our practice. But I got a really good relationship with some of the people there at PDI, and we thought it'd be a natural fit for them to sponsor the tournament, good marketing for them, and for them to get in front of a lot of the top college teams to introduce their product. So we're happy to bring them on board.
Considering, I remember how the last season we had that changeover from the golf stat to clipped, and now you have PDI in the mix. What's it like to kind of go through this, where you have all these different ways to evaluate your golfers, kind of vying for, attention from these programs?
Yeah, it's just technology, right? Is just moving forward at a fast pace, and I think this generation is so lucky to have platforms like PDI and Scoreboard, and it just makes it easier. They're always, have their phone and technology to be able to assess themselves. And I think Clipped and Scoreboard, although it's taken a little bit to get them off the ground, I think eventually it's going to be really good. And it's just, we just have to keep pushing forward with technology, and I think it's all a good thing.
So the spring is, of course, relatively familiar. Slate, of course, you got the Moon Golf Invitational in Melbourne again, Gators Invitational up in Gainesville, which, of course, Sandwich has won. You have yes, indeed. You have the Veritex Bank Collegiate in Dallas, the Big 12 Championships back in Houston, but you do have one new tournament on the slate, and that is the Valspar Invitational in Augusta, Georgia, which, of course, for golf fans is quite hollow ground. What's it like to get a chance to play in that city this season?
Yeah, it's funny. I tell people we're going to Augusta, but not Augusta National. I wish we were playing there. We can't even get in the gates there. But I had a team at UNC Greensboro on this course, so I know the course a little bit. Just a different look. We just wanted to mix it up. They have a pretty decent field there. What was new too for our sport this year was the 500 rule. Women's golf for the first time is implemented that rule this year. So we have to have a record of at least 500 to be eligible for NCAA regionals. The men have had it for, I think, 8 or 9 years, but this was the first year where to get to postseason, we know we have to have above 500 winning record. So that's something I think that all of the coaches have adjusted, that you need to ensure you're going to a few tournaments where you can get a lot of wins. And this field could be that opportunity for us.
So for people unfamiliar, how does win-loss record work in golf?
Right. So this coming tournament, we'll have 17 teams there. So if we finish first, we're obviously 15 or 16-0 there. So if we would finish middle of the pack, you're getting your 9 wins and 8 losses. So right now we're fine. I think through the fall we were 32-20. And even last year our winning percentage was like 88%. I'm not overly concerned with it, but I think going into the season now, all of the coaches look at it a little bit more strategically. It used to be you could just go to the best tournaments and, we would get invited to the best. And even if you finish last, your ranking can kind of still sustain that, kind of like the Annika. We finished next to last, but you're still ranked because you're playing against the best. So many years ago, NCAA men, they started the 500 rule, and actually every sport in the NCAA to get to your postseason has some sort of 500 rule. Baseball, basketball, you have to have a winning percentage. You can't have a losing record and make the postseason play. So it's just been a little something for us to think about. I think it affects more the teams that are ranked 50 to 70, that they're just not scheduling themselves into NCAA. They actually, and it gives mid-majors more of a chance to compete against the top teams as well.
You talk about you said at the top.
I hate the 500 rule, but take that out.
You said at the top of this that you mentioned going into the season with no expectations, and I mean, for people that have seen the course so far, all of them have collegiate eligibility remaining that have seen the course so far. What's it like to be able to come into this season knowing that you have the chance to basically bring this potentially bring this entire team back again in another season?
Yeah, that's the advantage certainly in our sport, is if you know the golf courses. I think that's a huge advantage. So we're not losing anybody off the roster this year. We'll have all 6 back and add 1 person next year. So having that experience when you go to a practice round that, let's say 4 or 5 of them might know the course, it's a whole different experience. When we go to a course, Annika was a great example. Nobody knew the course, first time there. You have to do a lot of work in 4 or 5 hours. Whereas we go to the Gator, I've been there 12 years in a row, been there many, many times. I know where they should hit it, where we should stay away from. It's just a different experience. So we don't mix our schedule up a lot because of that. So, I like to go back to courses that we play well on and the girls know. So it's just in the practice round. Like I said, it's a different experience because you're not stressed out to learn the course. You're just kind of knowing where to hit it, and it's kind of a different strategy.
You, of course, have consistently made regionals for a long time since you've been here, but the last time you were at the championships of 2019 and you made it there twice. What do you think is the biggest thing that this team needs to learn, whether it's this season or next season, to get over that hump and get into the NCAA championship?
Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest finals to make is golf. It just has to be your week. You have to get sent to the right course. It has to be your week. A lot of things have to go well. You have to be feeling well, injury free. If it's your time, it's your time. I don't think that there's anything necessarily we would do different. Let's say last year, it's just one of those, we just have to keep doing what we're doing on a consistent basis really well. And you just kind of hope it's your week. I mean, I'm really proud of the fact that not only have we been there for the past 10 years, but at large. I mean, even the years we won conference, we've been a consistent top 40 program here. And that's what I'm really proud of. And we have that standard. I mean, we talk about it a little bit. We don't talk about it a lot because I just focus on day to day, keeping those performances consistent. We know where we want to be, and just like every other team does, but it's just a matter of being proud. And we've talked a lot about that, of having pride, of playing for UCF. That's what we try to do every time they tee it up. Because at the end of the day, if you make regionals, you make finals, your life doesn't change that much, but it's that pride of every single week. I mean, what's the difference if you finish 4th or 5th? Well, the difference is we have pride in our performance. Whether you lose by 1 or you lose by 30, we want to make sure we're proud of that performance. And when we step on that tee, they're proud to put that uniform on. They know what the standard is here. They know it's really high, and they play for each other. And that's what has taken us over the edge over the past couple years, of that pride of playing together. And this team is pretty special and unique in that way, that they really are a tight group. And if it's our week, it's our week. We're not going to do anything different. We're not going to try harder. We'll definitely have a plan for the golf course and, make it work.
Of course, you have year 2 in the Big 12 now. Of course, the difference with golf and a bunch of other sports is that, with golf, the Big 12, the conference championship is just another week. But, of course, you're going back there now for another year. What was the biggest thing you kind of learned in year 1 over there in Houston that you can now take with you into this one?
Yeah, the Big 12 is one of the best, if not the best, women's college golf conferences. We're currently ranked 36th in the country, and we're 10th in our conference out of 14 teams. So it kind of tells you a little bit about the strength of our conference, adding Arizona and Arizona State. That's huge. So the competition we know is going to be the best. But seeing Houston Oaks, that's an advantage. That's a very difficult golf course. You get wind directions there that you kind of have to know. There's a few holes there that by the final round last year, we had it figured out. I mean, we'd just shoot like 65 or something crazy there. Yeah, we kind of got less intimidated by the course as we went along. But when you're first there, we're hoping that's the case with Arizona State, the new teams, that it's a bit of a shock to learn how to play that golf course. So again, going to courses that the course, the greens, the wind directions, that's something that we can use to our advantage this year.
What's the biggest thing that Night Nation should know about this team going into this spring?
That we're proud of every performance that we put out. I mean, we go out there every single week to make UCF proud. We're proud of our team. We love the support that we get from Night Nation, and we honestly are on the national stage and representing UCF. And our girls, they have so much pride in playing for UCF, and it makes me really proud to be a part of a special team like this.
You tee off on February 2nd with the PDI Intercollegiate. I gotta get used to saying that. February 2nd through 4th. But obviously you have that break between late October from the Landfall tradition and this with February. What's the biggest thing you want to see from this team in the PDI Intercollegiate to kind of show that consistency you've been talking about? Because obviously you've been not playing at least collegiate golf for a while.
Yeah, we just want them to relax and enjoy it. I mean, it's hard. Your home tournament's a little bit different. It can be easy in the sense that it's your home course and you know it, and it can be hard in the sense that it's your home course and you know it, so you should play well. So there's a little bit different expectations there. Sometimes the course so well. I always tell them, in your home tournament, you're going to end up in a place where you've never been before. So there's those little pressures, but it's just fun. I think it's a fun way to start your spring season, to kind of see where I see consistency. That's what we're looking for, of who can be consistent in the lineup. And you never know. Like I said, last year, Katie Poots came out and surprised us, and that's what I love about the spring. Is it's like a tale of two cities, right? You can have the fall season and the spring, and we just want to be playing our best golf come May and figure out what 5 those are to be playing in the postseason.
Awesome. Well, best of luck with this spring, and best of luck out there at Eagle Creek in a few days.
Thanks, appreciate it. Go Knights.